The letter trembled in Ethan's hands, the ink blurred by tears he didn't remember shedding. "I never meant to hurt you," it read. "If I could give you back your sight, I would give you my own." His knees went weak. The walls of his apartment seemed to close in, every memory roaring back like an old wound reopening. Lily's laughter, her calm voice, her gentle hand guiding his. It wasn't just love they'd shared, it was forgiveness disguised as affection. And now he finally understood. The woman who had taught him how to see the world again was the same woman he had once blinded. The cafe smelled faintly of cinnamon and rain. Outside, the world was gray, wet, and blurred by drizzle. Ethan sat at a corner table, his fingers tracing the rim of his untouched coffee cup, watching droplets slide down the window like slow tears. The bell above the door jingled every few minutes, and each time it did, his heart jumped a little, then settled again when it wasn't her. He hated how nervous he was. 32 years old, and still trembling like a teenager on his first date. But this one felt different. His best friend had convinced him to try a blind date, promising it would wake him up. After years of quiet routines and guilt-ridden nights, Ethan wasn't sure he could be woken anymore. He took a slow breath and adjusted his jacket, trying to look less like a man haunted by the past. The rain outside seemed to echo in his chest. Somewhere deep down, he hoped this evening might pull him back to life, or at least remind him what life used to feel like before the accident. Then it happened. The bell above the door chimed softly, and a woman stepped in from the rain. She carried an umbrella dripping silver drops onto the floor and wore a cream-colored coat that seemed to hold its own glow under the cafe's lights. But what caught Ethan wasn't her beauty. It was the white cane tapping gently before her feet. His breath caught. His blind date was literally blind. For a moment, everything in him froze. He didn't know whether to stand, wave, or wait, and then he realized how ridiculous waving would be. Before he could decide, the cafe manager smiled warmly. "Good evening, Lily," and guided her toward his table. She smiled as she approached. Her sightless eyes turned in his direction, as if she could still sense the shape of his gaze. "Ethan?" she asked softly. Her voice was calm, assured, touched by something that felt like sunlight breaking through cloud. "Yes," he managed to say, standing quickly and almost knocking over his coffee. "Yes, that's me." Her hand reached toward the space between them, fingers trembling slightly until they found his. "It's nice to finally meet you," she said. Her touch was warm, grounded. He couldn't explain why, but something inside him steadied. As they sat, she spoke about the rain, how it paints the city in rhythm. Ethan found himself listening, not to her words, but to her voice. It wasn't pity or fragility that defined her. It was peace. Still, something about her unsettled him, not in fear, but in familiarity. The way she smiled when she mentioned certain sounds. The way her head tilted when he described the taste of coffee, it all felt like déjà vu, as if he'd known her before this night. When she said, "Sometimes, when you can't see someone, you start to hear who they really are," he felt a strange shiver run through him. He didn't know it yet, but that simple line would unravel everything he thought he knew about this meeting and about her. Outside, the rain kept falling. Inside, something long buried in Ethan began to wake. The days that followed felt lighter, though Ethan couldn't quite explain why. What began as a single date became 2, then 3. The cafe where they first met turned into their quiet corner of the world. Same table, same rain-scented air, same soft music humming through the speakers. Lily always arrived on time, tapping her white cane softly against the floor like she was marking a rhythm only she could hear. Each meeting peeled back another layer of her world. She taught him to listen, really listen, to the way shoes whispered across wet pavement, to the way laughter carried differently in the morning than at night. "The world is never silent," she told him once. "You just have to stop trying to look at it." Ethan found that strange at first, then comforting. For the first time in years, his thoughts weren't full of noise. He found peace in her pauses. He found courage in her calm. One afternoon, while they sat by the park's lake, he watched her turn her face toward the wind. Her smile was small but sure, as if the breeze itself was painting something on her skin. "It smells like cedar today," she said. You don't smell it? He laughed softly. I don't notice things like that. Then start noticing, she replied gently. That's how you start to see again. That word again lingered with him. Sometimes, she spoke like someone who already knew where his pain lived. She avoided asking about his limp, but when he once stumbled on uneven pavement, she reached for his arm before he even lost balance. Reflexive, like she'd done it before. He brushed it off as coincidence, but something in her tone, her knowing silences, began to bother him. One evening, she invited him to her small apartment walls decorated with textured art and framed sheets of Braille poetry. She handed him a page. Read this, she said, smiling. He ran his fingers clumsily across the dots, fumbling, embarrassed. She guided his hand. Each dot means something. Together, they become meaning. Like us, flawed pieces that still make sense. That night, he couldn't sleep. Something about her words felt heavier. The next day, as he looked through his old sketchbooks, dusty from years of neglect, something slipped out from between the pages. A folded letter, sealed, with one word written on it. Lily. His heart stopped. His handwriting stared back at him, shaky, uneven, written long ago. With trembling hands, he opened it. Inside were words that burned through his chest. I never meant to hurt you. I wish I could take that day back. His mind reeled. He didn't remember writing it, but he knew those words. He'd said them once, years ago, after the accident, the one that left a stranger blind. The room spun. He dropped the letter, his breath coming shallow. It couldn't be her. It couldn't. But somewhere deep inside, Ethan already knew the truth. Lily wasn't just the woman he was falling for. She was the woman he'd once broken. And she'd known it all along.